Hi everyone, welcome back to KG Graves. We're in St Wolu's Cemetery in Newport in Wales, and we're here today to visit the grave of Jon Lee, who was the drummer with the band Feeder, very famous band. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, see you on the next one.
Here at Kerrang we talk a lot about mental health, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but it's a topic that always shocks us when this comes up.
Yeah.
And the stat that suicide is the biggest killer of men under 50. And a lot of conversations often revolve around that. But I think a lot of the time we don't talk about the people who are left behind and hurt from that. Do you think there's one thing that people need to talk about more around that?
When I think back now, I don't want to go too heavily into the whole Jon thing, but, I grew up with Jon, but I knew him since we were 17 when we met, probably.
Wow.
So I knew him a long time. Jon was a very full of life person, anyone that knew him. He was a great drummer. He was an awesome drummer. I'm not just saying that, but he was a fantastic, just a natural drummer. And, a great personality, like great in interviews. He was great for me because I could not have to talk as much as I did. But we started the band, we both respected I respected him as a player. He respected me as a songwriter, I think. And we kind of got on. We were very competitive, the two of us, between, in some way. But that's what makes a good band,
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's weird because sometimes the people that seem the most confident, there's a bit more going on. And the more I think about it and the years have gone by, I think it does touch on a bit of mental health, whether that's situations at home life, whether it's just constantly on the road, like traveling. Jon was living in America, so he was like traveling back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
Jet lag can really mess with you.
Really does, yeah.
Whatever's happening in his private life, the band were in a pretty good place. So, we just an Echo Park. It was our biggest album. It was probably our most commercial album. So it wasn't like we were kind of on our way out as a band. We were just doing that. It's always been like that for Feeder. It's been a very slow climb. And we were kind of on doing that. So I did detect, times where, he seemed a bit down or something. But Jon was very good at covering it up, So I think, what you just said, then I think what's good about nowadays, I think there is a bit more of an awareness of it.
Yeah.
Back then, this just wasn't. And people being too, probably would feel, especially men, almost awkward to, even talk about it. It's not easy,
100%.
I think men do find it harder in some way to talk to their friends about it or to anyone. And I think that maybe, I wish, I don't know exactly what went on, but I'm just guessing that there was a lot of that going on with him, and sort of something in his mind. He wasn't in a good place.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Jon Lee was born Jonathan Henry Lee on the 28th of March 1968 in Newport, Wales, to parents Norman and Patricia Pat. He was a Welsh drummer with the rock band Feeder. Jon had a brother, Andrew. He attended St Julian's School in Newport. In 1982, Jon was in a band called Exit. In January 1985, he formed Mad Hatter with Tim Chapman and Nick Brown, and also played in many other bands with his friends during the 1980s. Feeder were formed whilst Grant Nicholas, lead singer and guitarist, was a producer, before moving to London to gain more experience. He had already met Jon in Newport, who moved to London afterwards. They formed a band called Rain Dancer, who, despite winning a TV slot on ITV Central, never gained a record deal. Shortly before this, Jon was a member of Newport band, the Darling Buds, although only appearing on a couple of B-sides of the Sure Thing single. After Rain Dancers split, the band changed names and lineups several times. Names included Hum, Real spelled R-E-E-L, and Real spelled R-E-A-L. Taki Hirose joined the band on bass guitar. The band signed to the Echo label in November 1994 before finally changing their name to Feeder, with their debut single Stereo World reaching number 128 in the UK charts in October 1996. Their second single, Tangerine, reached number 60. The first full-length album, Polythene, was released in May 1997. It charted at number 65 in the UK and was certified silver for sales over 60,000 copies in 2003, when the band had already broken through. Metal Hammer magazine included it in its top 20 albums of 1997 list at number 1. In 2017, it would be upgraded to gold status for sales over 100,000 units. The follow-up album, Yesterday Went Too Soon, was produced by Grant Nicholas. Released in August 1999, the album was a much quicker commercial success than its predecessor, entering the UK album chart at number 8 and certified silver in 2001, with this being upgraded to gold in 2003. 2 years later, in 2001, the band released their third and also breakthrough album, Echo Park. The album peaked at number 5 in the UK and was also certified gold before going platinum in 2003. It contained their debut top 10 single, Buck Rogers. In his personal life, Jon was married to Brazilian model Tatiana Engelhardt in October 2000 in Miami. They had 3 children, Cameron, Isabella and Nicholas. Jon died of suicide on the 7th of January 2002 at his home in Miami, Florida. Earlier that day, Jon tried to call his wife at work several times, but was not always able to get through. On the last occasion, he said to her, "You need to come home. I'm going to do something stupid." She didn't place any great significance on this remark at the time, but when Tatiana arrived home at 7:15 p.m, she found her husband hanging from the rafters of his garage with a metal dog chain, with notes pinned to his shirt and placed on the hallway floor. He was 33 years old. Coroner David Bowen returned a verdict that Jon had killed himself while depressed. He had been having a somewhat strained relationship with his wife at the time and had been separated for a short time, although they had reconciled. His death was reported 2 days later on BBC Radio 1's Newsbeat programme. It was later reported that 4 suicide notes were found. Jon's funeral took place at St Mary's Church in Newport on the 18th of January 2002, where hundreds of fans showed up alongside family and friends to pay their own respects. Bandmates Grant Nicholas and Taki Hirose carried Jon's metallic blue coffin into the church with his brother Andrew and some of his friends. Feeder decided to continue, with Grant Nicholas saying, "Jon would have wanted us to carry on." After Jon's death, the band kept out of the public eye until their 4th album, Comforting Sound, was nearing its completion. The first play of its lead single, Come Back Around, was the first time since Jon's death that the band made any public appearances and released new material. The single charted at number 14, while the follow-up, Just the Way I'm Feeling, made the top 10. The album became their first platinum seller. The album featured Mark Richardson of Skunk Anansie on drums. In 2003, frontman Grant Nicholas dedicated the band's win for Best British Band at the Kerrang Awards to Jon, calling it the award he always wanted the band to win. As a past member of Feeder, Jon was posthumously inducted into the Kerrang Hall of Fame on the 9th of August 2019. Feeder continued to have success and in total so far have released 12 albums between 1997 and 2024. Let's see where his grave is located. So there you have it, the grave of Jon Lee, drummer with the band Feeder, had some hits in the UK charts. As usual, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Thanks to all of you who have already subscribed. See you on the next one. Rest in peace, Jon Lee.